Thanks for visiting my presentation here. I'm doing recruiting and selecting staff. Let's get into it. Why recruiting and selecting staff is important here. So the direct costs of recruiting, selecting, and training employees who later need to be terminated because of unsatisfactory performance. It's expensive, unnecessary. There's also hidden costs that could be even more expensive. Things like poor quality of work, disruption of morale, patient dissatisfaction. It's also crucial for the organization to recruit and hire staff that will contribute positively. And so this responsibility is shared by human resources and nursing management. Nursing managers are most knowledgeable about the job requirements and can best describe the job to applicants, and HR performs the initial screening and monitors hiring practices. So setting up for successful recruitment. The nurse manager and HR will first create a job description. That's important, so not only do they recruit candidates that are qualified, but then also the candidate knows upfront what the job entails. The position description should reflect current practice guidelines. This should include principal and duties, responsibilities, tasks required to carry out those duties, personal qualifications needed for the position, and competency-based behaviors. The job description will also, have the skills, abilities, traits, everything that would be needed for the job to be completed successfully. So as far as recruiting applicants, the main purpose of recruitment is to locate and attract enough qualified applicants to provide a pool of people to choose from. So you want a whole bunch of people that are qualified, and then you want more than you actually need. That way you can pick the best of the best. Hospital reputation, nurses' satisfaction, and unit environment play a huge role in successful recruitment. Recruitment's easier when current employees spread the recruiting message. This reduces the need for advertising and sign-on bonuses. The best recruitment strategy is the organization's reputation among its nurses. Satisfied nurses are more likely to speak highly of the organization. They're going to be talking to their friends. I love working here. You should apply here. It works like that. And also a nurse manager who creates a positive work environment. This also has a huge impact on recruitment efforts because potential staff members will hear about, the great leader, the great management that it has, and that's a really attractive quality for recruitment. So recruiting strategy, where to look. You're going to look, an organization is going to use recruitment strategies that were most successful in the past. So they usually recruit locally first, and then will expand to larger markets until, that sufficient applicant pool of people is reached. But proximity to home is a key factor when people are choosing jobs, so recruitment efforts should be focused on nurses living nearby. This is where you're going to want to look. Also, where to look, nurses' aides, nursing externships, internships, and local schools with nursing programs, especially if they had clinical at the hospital. That's a great place to look. I'll get into that a little bit more later. How to look. So you can they'll be posting online for general job search sites or nurse-specific job referral sites, employee referrals, advertising in professional journals, attendance at professional conventions, job fairs, career days, visiting educational institutions, employment agencies, temporary help agencies. These are all great ways to look for recruitmentees. Also you can, just do websites, newspaper, TV, etc. So when to look. So careful planning is necessary to ensure that recruitment begins well in advance of anticipated needs. So for the nurse manager to look forward, we have, X amount of nurses leaving in 3 months, well, she should start hiring now because the hiring process takes quite a few months, right? So definitely need some careful planning there when you need to start looking. And then you're going to have to sell the organization to potential recruits. How to promote your organization. So, you're going to tell them what the product is, talk about the professionalism, standards of care, quality, service, respect, everything the organization has to offer in that way. Talk about the place, the accessibility, what scheduling is like there, what the parking situation is, talk about the reputation and the culture. So this is like the physical qualities and location about the organization. Price, this is a really important factor for a lot of people, so you really want to sell your organization with the pay and differentials, the benefits, insurance, sign-on bonuses, retirement plans. Great way to promote your organization. And then you're going to promote it through promotion, so advertising, public relations, word of mouth, job fairs, etc. So a few recruitment strategies. One is cross-training. So cross-training has benefits. It increases morale and job satisfaction, improves efficiency, and increases the flexibility of staff, and providing means to manage fluctuation in the census. So, patient census fluctuates rapidly, and staffing requirements need to be adjusted appropriately. So using cross-training to solve this problem is great for short term, but also, when a nurse goes to a different unit, and they like that unit, then they might go, oh, well, I actually want to work there full time, and then apply there, right? So great way to recruit. And then clinical placement, this is huge. Students are more likely to apply for posts in placement area that they found to be most supportive and developmental. Returning to familiar area reduces reality shock, therefore reduces attrition rates and creates a more stable workforce. Huge benefits of investing in high quality clinical placement, all around really good way of recruiting and retaining those nurses. So let's look at the candidates. There's active candidates. These are people who are actively looking for employment, and passive candidates, they're not looking for employment, but a lot of research suggests that even though people aren't looking for employment, if they were offered a job that had better opportunity or benefits, they would take it. They'd happily take it. So that's not a wasted space to look for candidates. And candidate ghosting is a recent development. This is really on the increase the past year. So ghosting can happen several ways. Candidates will unexplainably cease all contact with a recruiter that they've been communicating with, or they accept an offer to an interview and doesn't keep the appointment, or they complete the interview process, accept the job, and then just don't show up on the first day. This is a big waste of time and expense, so it's really important to get the right candidates to avoid candidate ghosting here. So as far as selecting, first step is the preliminary interview conducted by HR. So this just makes sure that all the job requirements are met by this person. And then next is reference checks, and then the interviews are best conducted by the nurse manager. They're best able to assess applicants' technical competence, potential, and overall suitability, and best able to answer applicants' work-related questions more realistically. So the interview here. Interview is used to clarify information gathered from the application form and evaluate the applicant's responses to questions. So to ensure fair comparison between applicants, interviews should be structured. An interview guide would be best to use. This is a written document containing questions, interview directions, and other pertinent information. And so this ensures that the same process is followed and the same basic information is gathered from each applicant. Interview guides reduce interview bias, provide relevant and effective questions, and minimize leading questions. And then it also facilitates fair comparison among the applicants. The cardinal rule is to view the application and resume before the interview, so make sure the interviewer is well prepared to ask furthering questions. And then the increase in trend right now is sharing interview responsibilities with staff. Involving staff in interviews helps strengthen teamwork, improves work group effectiveness, increases staff involvement with unit activities, and then it also increases the likelihood of selecting the best candidate for the position. So when you're making a hiring decision now, things taken into account here is like educational preparedness. So if they have their associates versus their bachelor's, you want to avoid making assumptions about the type of experience and number of years of experience that an applicant has. Factors such as job requirements, patient acuity, clinical population autonomy, the degree of specialization vary from organization to organization, so careful interviewing techniques are needed to determine the applicant's actual knowledge and skill level. So that's really important. And then when comparing candidates, you want to weigh qualities required for the job in order of importance, and then weigh, the job dimensions by trainability. So the amount of education experience they have, and what is reasonable for them to learn, like what they would have to learn, is that reasonable for them to learn all of that? Take that into account. And it is more accurate to make decisions based on a comparison of several people than to decide each individual after each interview. So wait to interview, your whole pool that you decided to offer interviews before you make decision. Don't make your decision based off of each individual interview. So here is a video link you could go to, which explains how prevalent the nursing shortage is. Most nurses now leave the bedside within 2 years, so retainment improvement is really, really needed here. So that's a great video clip just to watch there. And then this website here talks about millennials, how to recruit them. So things that are really important is they want a job that has a growth track. They also want a robust benefit plan. They have school debt, so signing bonus, loan forgiveness, tuition assistance, those are really important for millennial nurses. Residency programs have huge benefits to retaining nurses and is really appealing to new millennial nurses if a place has a nurse residency program. And then they also want like a collaborative culture and to communicate with technology. Technology is huge nowadays, so that's important. Additional information here, there's a clear link between staffing ratios and quality of care. So it's important to recruit the adequate amount of nurses that your hospital needs to run efficiently. Most popular career choices for newly qualified nurses are acute and highly technical areas, where primary care and care of older people are less popular. So it's important when you're recruiting to balance these out, so you have people in all areas that you need hired. And then a review of literature shows that work overload, lack of formal rewards, and work-life interference is the top 3 key demands of nursing. And then the top key resources for nursing are supervisor support, fair and authentic management, transformational leadership, autonomy, and professional resources. So when recruiting, really highlight, these key resources, talk about how great the supervisors are, talk about the management, talk about the level of autonomy they're going to have, highlight these. And then for the key job demands, you're going to want to address them, but inform them how this organization is working through that, how you're combating, work overload and how you're giving formal rewards. And then my references. Thank you.